We are so much more than this biosuit. We are so much more than the mental, emotional, spiritual capacities. We are, we actually exist on many, many different planes. Parts of us exist in linear time, but there are parts of us that exist in a much more different kind of time. And there's also parts of us that exist completely outside of time and outside of space. But we, because of our conditioning and the way we perceive things, the way we're trained to perceive things, we're cut off from that. And because we don't engage in with our beingness on those other levels, other energies come in and take up residence, or start, set up systems to extract life force energy in certain kinds of ways, like the looshing, right? We've had many conversations about looshing. So I want to talk about this because humanity is being faced with a crisis, in the sense of we have to wake up to who we are in these multidimensional ways, or else we're going to be going through that path that has been we've been warned about. And the path we've been warned about, well, the Hopi tell stories about, the ant people carrying warnings about how we progress from here. We're at that junction point where we start replacing certain aspects that are innate to us with technology. So this cloning and organ customized medicine idea is a part of that. Now, I'm going to go step back a little bit and tell a little story about, what has been told to us by Zeta Reticuli and other beings, other grays, right? I've had several interactions with different kinds of grays. They're not all created equal, and they're not all from the same place in the galaxy. And there's a lot of different things. Some of them are more inner Earth oriented. Some are tell a very interesting story that they're future humans coming back into this time and space because they're not able. Their species is dying, and the idea is that their species is dying because they've pretty much bred the divine spark out of their capacities. Now, humans have a divine spark. What does that mean? That means that we have infinite capacities. We have infinite well of creativity available to us from just within us. Greg Braden does a lot of wonderful talks. He started a podcast. I don't know if you guys know about this. I've only seen, I think, 2 episodes, or maybe it was 2 halves of the same episode. I think it was 2 halves of the same episode. But he started a podcast, and he's really hitting it hard about humanity needs to wake up to their divinity. This is the time where we wake up to our divinity, or else we're going to lose. We're going to lose a lot. So, and what he talks about is like the telomeres. It's, when technology, when computing capacity is reach its max, you got to add more capacity in order for it to expand. But with the human biosuit and our consciousness, is that once we are at what's considered capacity, there's just this magical exponential expansion of our capacity, just all of a sudden, once we're at that max. And that is an expression of that divine spark that I'm talking about. So he goes deep into that. If you guys want to check him out, look for his channel. It's on YouTube somewhere. Really interesting stuff. So, because he's into the science. I'm an intuitive. I'm just into, the perceptions of what I can touch, and who we are as multidimensional beings. I'm not really so concerned about what can be proven by science or not. Not that I don't have a science brain. I do in certain capacities, but that's not my, in this case, what we're doing here is not really my focus. So anyway, getting back to, they ended up breeding the divine spark out of their species. And with that they also completely lost their emotional body. They had no emotional capacities as well. And as many philosophers in the past have pointed out, that when you have very advanced, immense intelligence that lacks empathy, that's you end up with a species that is capable of unmeasurable cruelty. It's our emotional field, it's our empathic abilities that really keeps us in a framework of of what we can live with, what they call it, a conscience. Someone who has a conscience, you can't just, you're not willing to just be endlessly cruel to beings. It's like there's a sense of empathizing with what's happening. And as our society moves forward, there's this phenomenon of sociopath and psychopaths. Sociopaths can care less about what other people think and feel, and psychopaths really are that. Plus, they don't care at all about human life, so they can, kill millions of people, or do something that they know is going to kill millions of people and not lose any sleep over it. Now, you or I, if we were in that position, that'd be something that would be heart-wrenching, heartbreaking. Like, to be in that position alone is awful enough, let alone take an action that is going to do something like that or have repercussions like that. So this species, this particular species of gray, bred out their divine spark and their emotional body, and they have come back from a far future to the here and now to try to reclaim what they've lost. And this is what many of those abductions were about in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I don't know if there's as many going on here in the 2000s, but I definitely know about through the 70s, 80s, 90s. Definitely, there was many people being abducted, and certain aspects of them getting harvested. And the narrative that goes with that is that these particular race of grays are striving to return that divine spark to their race. And there's certain features within that race. One is that they don't breed anymore through making love. They are they're created in well, similar to like that movie in the Matrix. They're hatched, right? They have like a artificial womb, and there's artificial insemination, and then the embryo is cultivated within the artificial womb, and then is born. And what happens is that they pretty much either do it that way or through cloning. And through the cloning process, so eventually hatching an embryo from an artificial womb became, they advanced past that, and they just embrace straight up cloning instead of starting from an embryo. And in the cloning process, that the physicality began to degrade and couldn't house their consciousness in a way where their emotional field is there, and where that divine spark is still available to them. So they've come back from the future into the here and now through interdimensional means, and we're, like I said, trying to reestablish that connection. And what I'm seeing is that this is the crossroads that humanity is at, where we're at that choice point of embracing our divinity, as in our multidimensional aspects of who we are as a species on this planet, here to unfold ourselves in whatever way that we choose to, or we're going to go down this route of technical capacities, where we start embracing technology to enhance our reproductive process, our healing process, our advancement process. Right? It's like this is the time where the crossroads is happening. So this customized medicine narrative connects me directly into this understanding that the ant people in these grays that I'm talking about convey, is that um, is that we need to wake up to who we are as multidimensional beings if we want a fate different than what we see has happened with these guys, with the grays. And I know gray is really term. It's like saying humans, or all the white people, or all the black people, or all the Asians. It's like it's overgeneralization. But the gray is the word I have, because they're from a different time space, and this is, to call them Zeta Reticuli is not accurate, because there are Zeta Reticuli that have not been down that particular path. And there are, just like there's many different humanoids throughout the galaxy, there's this is a branch of that, what they what their DNA is sourced from. So this customized medicine, what they're talking about, completely dismisses the the truth that we know, that we call epigenetics. Lipton, Dr. Lipton is someone who's proliferated this idea through the media, and that is that how you get sick and how you heal and how you progress through life has everything to do with your belief system, has everything to do with your thoughts and your feelings that you choose to have. And in the thoughts and feelings that you choose to have, that actually tells the cell how to behave, what nutrients to take in, what nutrients to reject, so on and so forth. And if you guys ever go into, see, I'm exposed to a lot of different information for different reasons. It's like my own guides and my own spirit like has me on a particular path, and so I listen to different things. And yes, I go into the technical realm because I'm being called to like perceive all this and digest it and get to that liberated perspective of it.